Marvin Keller Trucking is currently looking for drivers to expand their fleet. We have solo, team, lease purchase, owner-operators, and even part-time local positions available.
Their solo drivers get up to 54 cents a mile. Teams get up to 58 cents a mile. Late model Cascadias and Mack Anthems available. Your health benefits start on day one.
That's nice.
No touch freight and 60% drop in hook.
Nice.
Want something different? Join the Elite Fleet. 4 days on and 4 days off. Hourly pay of $20 to $25 an hour. Want to start your own business? Check out the lease purchase program. With payments as low as $345, you can pay the truck off and start hiring your own drivers.
Want more details? Call 888-418-5161, extension 280.
Marvin Keller Trucking. Hey drivers, are you looking for a new job or are you looking just to become a new lease driver? Well, NCI offers new Kenworth T680 double bunk condos with APU and refrigerator, all standard in all of their equipment. Come aboard and become a lease operator, or you can become a company driver. NCI offers regional positions, over-the-road positions, team positions, and also NCI will take on a few students if you've graduated from a trucking school. Pick up the phone, check out NCI, and see if they have what you're looking for at 888-311-7076. That's 888-311-7076. TalKCDL. Just kidding. We're not the news. We're not Channel 9. We're not CNN. Definitely not CNN. We're not Fox News. We are TalKCDL. So, I don't even know where to start tonight. I know you have something you want to talk about, but check this out. I thought maybe I picked up this little article. It was actually kind of enlightening, nice news.
Well, that's always the good news. I like that news better.
So, for all you people looking for, what was that song? You got the bubble-headed bleach blonde. She comes on at 5. She could tell you about a plane crash with a gleam in her eye. So if you guys are all looking for dirty laundry, you can turn off while I give good news for a minute and then check back in 7 or 8 minutes when we're back to the blood and guts. All right. So check this out. Listen to this article. I found this. You know, I get a lot of news alerts. They come to us. Mm-hmm. It's titled, Cat Accidentally Hitches a Ride to the U.S., Gets Back Home Thanks to a Trucker with a Big Heart.
Aww.
I know, man. It comes out of the Saskatchewan area of Canada. Mm-hmm. So it was a Canadian kitty.
Aww.
A Canadian cat. I want to make like Canadian jokes right now. Keep your cats up there, guys. Yeah, I'm serious. Can't even control your cats.
Well, they you know what they say about cats.
Well, I don't know. It's a cat joke.
Stray cats.
Stray cats?
Yeah.
Oh, that's real funny. All right. So I'm going to read this. Just kind of cute. It says, a very lucky cat from Redvers, Saskatchewan, took an unexpected trip to the United States this week and made it back home thanks to the help of truck driver Jack Shao. Yay, Jack Shao. Okay. Anyways, it says, I don't know if Chelsea Marcan said she had let Spooky, I guess Spooky's the cat, let Spooky outside along with her other 2 cats. You know what? I'm not a cat person, and neither are you.
I'm allergic to them.
Can we be honest about cats? And I know we'll probably get some truckers writing in. Cats stink. They, if you have a litter box, I don't care whose house I've been into. And again, I'm not here to put people down that have cats. When I was a kid, we had cats, but we never kept them in. They'd go out, kill a rat, kill a mouse, a snake, whatever, and they'd come in the day, kind of lounge around, eat, and then at night, those cats didn't want to be in. You know, we lived on a mountain, and they were just out doing their thing.
They're out hunting. That's when all the prey comes out.
Right. They did not stink because we wouldn't allow them to go to the bathroom in our house. I didn't like it. And again, I'm not putting people down that are cat people. Mm-hmm. People, I mean, you can look at videos. There's like cat cutesy video thingies, out there that people get all pumped up on.
Oh, I think they're cute. It's not that I dislike a cat. I mean, like you said, we had cats. I'm allergic to them, but
I'm allergic to the smell.
I think I don't like the smell either. There are very, very, very few people that I know that can have a cat and not have a smell. And it's the ones, like my nephew taught his cat how to use the toilet.
Do you remember the Flintstones cat on the song? Someday, maybe Fred will win the fight. Then that cat will stay out for the night. Remember, he'd throw the cat out and the cat would come back in and toss. And he'd be like, Wilma. Yeah. See, even like the cartoons of cats weren't that cute. You know what I mean? Like Fred got kicked out.
I'm just amazed that you knew that, like, word for word there.
Hey, man, I was a Flintstone guy. So anyway, so check it out. He said, I just kind of assumed that in the morning they would all three come running home. Basically, this is what she's saying. So anyways, here's what happens. I'm going to make this, I'll make this a little short. It said, as the day progressed and Spooky had not returned, she started to grow nervous. She posted on social media that the cat was missing, but no one in the community of about 1,000 people had seen the black cat sneaking around. They're sneaky. Cats are sneaky. You got to admit it.
They are.
You know what's worse? When you ever smell, when we had cats, the males, they'd be outside fighting. That's the worst sound in the world. But what was even worse than the sound was when a male cat urinates on the tree and they stand backwards.
Yeah, they spray.
They squirt backwards. It's the goofiest looking thing, but the smell of it'll give you a headache for life. So anyways, Spooky, it said, let's see what happened. I'm just saying. So, okay, so here's what happened. About 11:30 at night, her phone rang and the cat's vet, like the cat has its own doctor. And it said, Chelsea, this is Christine Hill. I guess she was the vet, Christine. And it said, the article says, I have Jack Shao. He's a trucker. Yay for the truckers. Right? He's in the U.S. right now, but he has your cat. See, if I was Jack, I'd have been like, what? How much are you going to pay to get him back? How much is he worth? Because people would pay for their cat. You know that, right? Anyways, okay. So anyways, it says, sometime during the night, Spooky had managed to crawl up in the engine bay of his blue Peterbilt semi-truck. So at least he hits the ride on a good truck. Spooky's a Peterbilt kitty. Anyways, it says luckily he was found safe spot to sit while the truck traveled 790 kilometers. What's a kilometer? It's like, is it a mile? Is it close to a mile?
I have no idea.
So anyways, he went down to North Dakota. And then it says Shao was doing a routine check at the Robinson Lake gas plant when he found the cat. He says, I was scared, Shao said. At the time, it was dark. His eyes were really bright. I thought, what is that? It kind of scared me. I was afraid of seeing anything hurt. So Jack's a compassionate trucker. I mean, that's cool. We need more truckers like Jack. I'd have been like, get out of here, cat.
You would have.
Get out of here.
Yeah, you would.
Then they would have said, some cat's missing. I'd be like, I didn't see him. What? Not me. It wasn't me. But anyways, so Jack found the cat. He was afraid that the cat was hurt. Obviously, you would think, wow. So anyways, he said, I thought he was hurt because he didn't have much room under the hood. And must have been a 379 all compacted in there. He says he asked another truck driver to help pull Spooky out.
Yeah,
I guarantee.
Those claws, little knives.
I guarantee it. You know what I would have done just to piss Spooky off? I would have gave him a bath. You ever give a cat a bath?
Yeah.
It's the freaking funniest thing in the world. Their eyes get real big. They look like a drowned rat, and they look like they're going to die.
Yeah, their eyes dilate. It looks like... Yeah.
I'm telling you.
The ears are back.
That would be the funny.
And they're making that noise at you.
Remember we had that cat, and I'm like holding all four paws and dipping. We weren't drowning him. You were bathing him. But it was like the whole time we were giving him a bath. What was he doing? I was like, we're not killing you. Settle down, kitty. I said so. No, we didn't do that. Okay. So, anyways,
You gotta hear my cat's name, though. I at least gotta tell you, if you're gonna hear it, you're gonna get my.
No, we haven't had cat in 20 years.
Yeah.
Tell him what the name was.
Einstein.
No, but what was his
nickname? Cat.
His nickname was Cat. Cat the cat. But anyway, it said. He asked another truck driver to help pull Spooky out, and surprisingly, the cat was fine. Yay, Spooky's okay. Anyway, so Shao called the number, which is cool because this is one of those incidences where you got a caller and there's an actual phone number,
the proper ID.
Exactly, you had the proper ID. Without that proper ID, Jack might have had a new pet
Or lunch.
or lunch. Who eats cats? So anyways, okay.
You don't know it, people.
I'm like, don't say it. All right. So anyways, it says Shao called the number on the cat's collar. The number was the vet. I guess that was that Christine girl. And it said after he connected with Marchan, he made the cat as comfortable as he could and gave him water. Yeah. That was nice, Jack. Anyway, so he was actually, it said the cat went on a journey into North Dakota, then over to one other state, and then came back to North Dakota. And luckily, the next day, Jack was actually going back up there. So,
yeah, luckily.
Right. So what they did was they actually got a hold of the border. The people said, hey, listen, because Jack was nervous, I'm going to now got to smuggle an animal into Canada.
Well,
Canadians don't mess around.
No, they don't. I'm just trying to think of how to have a passport. Yeah.
With the cat?
A cat port.
A cat port. So anyways, so they called the border. The border knew that the kitty was coming, got up there, and then Jack got his picture with the cat. Happily ever after is Spooky.
Aw.
Aw.
That was nice.
Spooky's alive. He was a little spooked, but,
Hey, you know what? The fact that, judging by the name, I'm going to assume Spooky. It was, like one of those black cats.
He was pure black. He is a beautiful animal.
So,
That's one of those, if you're called Spooky, you're going to be, and he's got the green eyes too.
Here's the other thing.
Yeah.
How many people do you know that actually believe in those superstitions of the black cats and stuff?
A lot of people. Oh my God, a black cat just walked in front of me. Yeah. And then I tripped and fell underneath a ladder and broke a mirror at the same time.
Well, I was carrying my mirror, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I need my rabbit's foot.
So
oh no, the cat
fact that Spooky was in the truck, in the hood, he probably...
Spooky was in the hood? The hell is that? Oh, the hood. I get it. He was under the hood. I thought you said he's in the hood. I'm like, what the hell?
You're bad.
So anyways, yeah. So Spooky is back in Canada. He's a Canadian cat. Get him back up there. We love Canadians.
Eh?
Do we?
Yeah.
Spooky, eh?
Spooky, eh?
All right. So, all right. So you had actually mentioned something earlier about... And you had mentioned something about the, since we're moving on, you had mentioned something about the blah, blah, blah. What was it called? The house, the clearinghouse.
The clearinghouse.
And I had said, wow, we've talked about that quite a bit. But you had mentioned something that I actually had heard the other day also, because I seen a report where, and I didn't know the percentage. So tell me, do you have an article on it, or do you?
Yeah, no, it's an article that I read.
It was something like 13% and an increase. So why don't you go ahead and...
reveals 13% of the...
I thought you said it was a 13% increase in refusals or something like that. That people, since the clearinghouse opened up, there's been an increase in refusals. Is that not what you told me?
That's what I thought it said at first.
So you gave me false information?
Yeah, I did.
So we just put out false information?
No, you just said it. It's 13%, but 13%, what it says is... The clearinghouse shows that 13% of drug testing violations collected by them during the first half of the year were classified as refusals during pre-employment drug screens. So what they're saying is that considering that a refusal in the content of the pre-employment can really only occur after the driver has been handed a urine collection cup, this number may be a good proxy for how often drivers attempt to defeat the urinalysis. So what they're saying then is that this number, if it remains high, could accelerate calls for the U.S. Department of Transportation to approve the hair follicle testing that everybody, or oral fluid testing. So because these drivers are refusing during their pre-employment, and it's going up as a refusal as a positive or, that's there. What's happening is the trucking industry, the Department of Transportation, will then, instead of giving these drivers the opportunity to do the urine test, they're going to start saying mandatory across the board, you're going to have to do a hair follicle or a saliva swab. So drivers you shouldn't be doing that. Don't be refusing.
Well, first off, we'll break that down real quick. First off, a refusal is a failure. Mm-hmm. I know people are going, no, it's not. Yes, it is. It's a failure because when you go to get a job, it's the same level. Nobody cares. You could say, there's, and a lot of drivers I've talked to, they say, well, they said I refused, but I really didn't. Mm-hmm. And here's the other thing, like whether it's a pre-employment or a random, you actually have so much time to do it. And if you don't get it done, that's a refusal, which is a failure. And I know I'm probably confusing people because people are going, well, how could it be a failure if I didn't take it? Because nobody cares.
What's it called? Like you're admitting guilt or something like you're admitting something. It's something to that effect. But you were saying about the randoms, 16% of the randoms that go out there are refusals also. So they have 13% during pre-employment and 16% during randoms that are refusing.
Say no to drugs. Just kidding. It's a cliche. Just say no. But no, being honest, okay? Look, and I've said this a million times. We won't beat this too long, but, first off, you got a Class A CDL in your pocket, all right? I won't even drink more than a beer if Ruth Ann and I are out to dinner. Excuse me. I refuse to drive only because all you need is somebody to bump into you to where you're filling out a police report and the cop goes, is that alcohol I smell in your breath there, sir? Mm-hmm. Blah, blah, blah. And next thing you know, it's just a bunch of BS. And my luck, I'll get the guy that I was in the accident with, his cousin Billy Bob is probably the local cop and his uncle Jed is the freaking judge, knowing my luck. So I just refuse to drive if I have any alcohol in my breath. I just don't do it. I make you drive.
You do.
And I don't even, I'm not out getting drunk. I just, like if I have a beer with my dinner, I'm like, that's my CDL. You guys, I'm going to tell you, this is the truth. You got a Class A CDL in your pocket. Treat it like a college degree. Don't sit there making fun of it, going, oh, it's not a college degree. Yeah, well, guess what? Half of you truckers are making more than half these dumbasses that do 2 to 4 years in college, and they come out and they get a job at Burger King, and their damn college degree is about toilet paper. So trust me, your CDL is 10 times better to have than most college degrees these days. I'm going to tell you that right now. You're a hard-working man. Don't shit on your damn license and don't shit on your damn career. All right? So if that's the case, all right, seriously, you're in a state that's pot's legal like Colorado, don't smoke weed. Just because it's legal doesn't mean you should have it. Doesn't mean you should be doing it as a trucker. You smoke weed and then you go to work, even though you're not high, and they say, oh, hey, Ruth Ann, you're up for a random. And you'd be like, what's that, dude? Exactly. You're done, man. Well, it's legal, dude. No, it doesn't. It's not legal in trucking.
It's not federally.
It's legally. Not right. You test positive for weed, coke, anything, opiates, you're done. And and then the rest of your life, you're going to say the high wasn't worth my entire career. Now you get to go to Walmart and be a greeter or a clerk or whatever the hell else they hire you as because your CDL just got crapped on. I'm just telling you, that's just what you guys don't mess with that CDL. And then what was the end result? They're thinking about now really pushing hair follicles
and saliva. And the mouth swabs and the hair follicles. So that will end up going mandatory across for everybody soon. I mean, certain companies do require that. That's what they're trying to do. But didn't
we just read about there's a time limit on the hair follicle. They can only cut, was it like an inch or half an inch? They can only go, they have to measure the hair follicle. That's a fact. We read that before.
Yeah.
So that way they can only go back, it's like 45 or 90 days. I forget what the time limit is. So what the bottom line is, these guys snip at 1 inch of your hair and it goes back. And that's the other thing that I don't think that's fair, because look at how fast does my hair grow compared to yours. Seriously.
Well, that's why they say an inch, because on an average, people's hair grows differently.
Okay, well, that's not fair, though. Like, for example, a guy where his hair, takes like a half a year to grow an inch, What if he smoked weed 5 months ago? Now he's screwed because his hair only grew an inch in 5 months. That's what I'm saying. Some people, they'll smoke weed, right? Think about this. If you're a person where your hair grows really slow and you smoke a little bit of weed in a legal state, okay, where you're free to do that, but 5 months later, your hair barely grew an inch, and they snip it, and guess what? It's now in that 1 inch. You're going to test positive. When you get a guy like me, my hair grows in 2 weeks. Guess what? I could probably smoke a little bit of weed 30 days ago, and my hair is over an inch longer.
I don't know what the stipulations on there are. That would be something that we'd have to look into to see exactly what the...
Yeah.
Because they do the saliva test, but I don't know how far back, with the saliva test. I don't know much about that one either, the mouth swab.
Yeah,
so
they do a saliva test for
drug and alcohol. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I just said that like 3 times.
I didn't listen to you.
I know.
I never do.
Oh, you don't.
But seriously, the bottom line with this is, what we were talking about this on the way over, and I was saying, it's always the guys that are that don't give a flying crap that screw everybody up. There's an old saying: one bad apple does spoil the whole bunch. Okay, the bad ones ruin it for everybody else. This is why 90% of Walmarts don't allow truckers to park there. Why? Because of that small percent. Not every trucker. Most truckers are respectful, but you know who I'm talking about, guys. If whoever's listening, if you're the guy that throws your shit out the window when you're parked at the bottom of the parking lot, you clean your truck out in the parking lot. We've seen guys changing oil and leaving their oil pan. We've seen guys, dumping piss bottles out and in a Walmart. What do you think Walmart said no more? Well, it's the same thing here. You got enough guys that are doing drugs in the industry, and then they're refusing. They're going to start hair follicles, and the guys that are really good people are now going to get condemned, okay, because maybe they smoked weed 4 months ago in a legal state, okay, and they waited long enough to drive, but now they're screwed because they're getting their hair snipped. Mm-hmm. I'm just saying, man, it is what it is. I'm just whining a little bit.
I'm trying to look here. I have a test thing pulled up about them. So
about what?
During the test, the tester will remove a small hair sample close to a person's scalp and send it to a laboratory. So that's what I thought. They can't take it from the ends because that's the longest hair.
The oldest. Okay.
Right. So they'll take it from the scalp. That's why it's a follicle, because the closest to the scalp will have it.
Okay, but keep going on that, because remember we had read this last year, this random thing, and they said that the advice that the one trucker gave, or the doctor gave, they said, make sure if they do a hair follicle on you that you physically watch them take the allotted size. I think it's an inch or a half an inch or whatever the length is they're allowed to take. So let's say you have your hair 6 inches long. Don't allow the lady that's taking your hair sample to take more than she's allowed. And you make sure you take back what's the excess hair. And I'm serious. That's just the truth. You can't trust somebody else. And I'm not advocating for anybody to protect them from smoking weed, but I'm just saying, if you're in a state where it's legal, it's just like a beer, okay? But a trucker's going to get hung because of a damn hair follicle test. I'm just saying. That's all I'm saying.
I'm trying to see. It's not showing me. On this one, it's not showing me how.
I have a memory with like a steel trap.
No, you don't.
Okay, it's maybe plastic.
Like if you want to go with steel trap, those old fishing, like the minnow buckets.
The rusted one out.
Yeah, the minnow buckets.
My memory's a little.
You're a minnow bucket.
Yeah, so are my ideas smaller than minnows that they're getting out? They're escaping. Okay. Are we moving on, or are you still trying to find that?
I just reworded the word. So I want to see what it is now. And since I probably got everybody wanting the same thing. Okay. A single hair isn't going to be enough for a hair drug test, and you can't use hair collected from a brush or another source. It must be taken directly from the person's head for the analysis to effectively determine drug use, or a sample of hair needs to be 1.5 inches long and have the thickness of a pencil. That was in 2018, though.
So 1.5, so an inch and a half. See, I'm curious. Google, if you would, Google what does the average person's hair grow? What is the average and what's quick and what's slow? So that's what I don't like that. I don't like the fact that the guy that has slower growing hair, it's really not a fair, excuse me, it's really not fair. And I'm not advocating for somebody smoking weed. I'm just saying what's fair is fair. If you live in a state that is legal, why should you be condemned? Especially if you smoked the weed 45 days ago and you're not intoxicated. It doesn't make sense that he should be hung. That's just my thoughts. Troy's thoughts. Okay, I'm going to move on if you don't. You got something?
Well, I'm pulling that up, but I was going to tell you that with... Now I lost my train of thought.
You were going to tell me with what?
Okay, the American Academy of Dermatology said that hair grows about a half an inch per month on average. That's a grand total of about 6 inches per year for the hair on your head.
So basically a half an inch. If you're taking an inch and a half, then that sounds like they're going back 90 days.
Right. And
on average.
On this one that we had read, but that was 2018, it said that it had to be from your head. I actually have heard from the medical field from different people, they could take the hair from other parts of the body.
I've heard that too.
To get the drug. Yeah. So it has to have a follicle. So if you're going to try and avoid that, you literally have to shave every single hair on your body. And every hair. And
I've seen an episode of Forensics, or one of them, where a guy did that. He didn't want to be DNA'd with his hair. And they were looking over his body, and he had like 2 hairs on his back or something that he missed. And that's how they got him. So, all right, well, let's move on. But guys, don't do drugs, and get in a tractor trailer. That's all it's to it. The easiest way to not get test positive or have to refuse one, Ruth Ann, would you say it's don't do the damn drugs? Right. I mean, you need to. Would you want your doctor, your dentist, Dr. Giggles, do you want him to be... Okay, do you want him to be like high when he goes into your mouth to start cleaning your teeth or fix a cavity? No. So you're just as dangerous. It would make a fun day at the dentist. Dr. Giggles. Yeah. All right, let's move on. I'm not here to lecture these guys. I'm just saying, look, I mean, with all this technology, the best thing you can do is probably don't do it. We're in one of those careers as a truck driver where there's a few things that can hang your ass. And I'm about to read one. So let's move on. Listen to this title. Driver facing felony charges in Indiana crash that killed 4 children declared imminent hazard by the FMCSA. Yeah. Is that crazy or what? Listen to this. It's horrible. It just happened in this month. Woo, this is a big article, but I'm going to try to skip around. This happened in Cambridge. It says a truck driver was charged with multiple felonies related to a July 9th accident in Wayne County, Indiana, that resulted in the death of 4 children. He's been arrested, and he's had a couple charges thrown at him by the Preble County, Ohio DA. It says, according to records, in addition, the driver has been declared an imminent hazard to public safety by the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration, or the FMCSA. It says a July report by an Ohio outlet noted that Corey Withrow, age 31, of Camden, Ohio, was arrested July 14th and charged with violating terms of probation from a 2019 drug conviction. This guy's got like a long list of stuff. It says, what I want to do is I want to scroll down to where it says the July 9th accident, which occurred in the late afternoon. It said this was on I-70 in Cambridge, Indiana. I stand corrected what I said Ohio before. It said it involved 2 tractor trailers and a Chevy passenger van, or a Chevy passenger vehicle. It says when Wayne County deputies arrived at the scene, they found a Chevy and a 2004 KW Kenworth tractor with a loaded box, or a dry van, on the left side of eastbound 70. Now listen to this. They were both fully engulfed in flames. Now these are little kids. This is actually a tearjerker, this one. It says an investigation by the law enforcement indicated that the Kenworth, driven by Withrow, was coming eastbound on 70, right? He was in the right lane, and it said the driver came up. Of course, this is the part that kills you. Came up on slow traffic, right? It said they slowed to merge into the left lane of the construction zone, so they're bottlenecking down. And it says the KW failed to slow down as he approached the slowed traffic and rear-ended the Chevy car in the right lane, pushing the car forward into the left rear of the other tractor trailer. So basically sandwiched this car, okay, into another rig. It says, and so basically the car was on fire. The tractor trailer was on fire also, but they pulled him out. He was okay. All right, the other driver, the innocent trucker, it said the Kenworth continued pushing the passenger into the left lane and eventually into the berm of the left lane, where the two vehicles burst into flame at the time of the July 9th incident. Withrow was employed by Barnett's Inc. of Camden, Ohio. Now, it says a passerby. This has got to be horrible for Barnett's also, just so you know this. You know, you hire somebody and then they go out and they act this way in your rig. This was one of the reasons why, remember that guy Jack Satterfield that made, what were they called, Green Tree, out of business. You know, he went out and got drunk and then he killed a bunch of people in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. This is almost the same damn thing. It says a passerby was able to pull the driver of the passenger car. So the driver of this Chevy was pulled out. The sad part was their kids were not.
Most of the kids were probably in safety seats of some sort, you know, or because if they were older, they would have gotten themselves out.
Absolutely. And that's the part you as parents and grandparents, you're probably all going, oh my gosh, this is horrible. He says they were unable to rescue the 4 passengers from the car. And here's the part that's killer. It says the police, Indiana police, and you know what this is? I wonder if this is in Sensei's area. This is right there in Indiana. I'm going to have to ask him. We'll have to see if he was involved in this. It said the Indiana police, state police investigators have identified the fatalities. In honor, I'm going to mention these kids' names, okay? It says Noel Acosta was 15. Quentin Michael McGowan was 13. Brecken Riley Bruce was 8. And Trenton Bo Bruce was 6 years old. It's like they're babies. It's terrible. It says the driver of the car, 34-year-old Aaron Bruce of KC, Missouri, was transported to the hospital in Indiana with burns and internal injuries. Withrow escaped the burning. Now, here's, of course, the bad guy always escapes. It says he escaped the burning semi with non-life-threatening injuries. The driver of the tractor trailer that was hit from behind, he was Thomas Flaherty, 57. He was from Springfield, Ohio. He wasn't injured. Thank God for the trucker. Okay, the innocent trucker. It says jail records show that Withrow was arrested at 1:20 a.m. July 10th. This was the next day, and charged with level 4 and level 5 operating while intoxicated. So the dumbass was just out there wasted. We just got done talking about, you know, drugs and alcohol. Well, here's a guy goes down the road on the interstate, wasted out of his ass. It says he was also charged with level 5 reckless homicide, 4 counts of operating a motor vehicle while intoxicated, resulting in death, and 4 counts of causing catastrophic injury while operating intoxicated. Withrow was released on bond at 11:40 p.m. July 10th. So he was arrested that day, and then he bonded out. It says Indianapolis reported July 14th that witnesses said Withrow's truck, these were the witnesses' accounts, said he was driving erratically prior to the crash. At one point, he was pushing another tractor. He pushed another tractor trailer off the shoulder. So this guy was Indiana State Police investigators determined the truck was moving at 72 mile an hour at the crash. So he didn't just hit them; he careened these
Never
kids.
slowed down.
Never. And it says the speed limit in the construction zone is 55, but traffic was moving slower. Obviously, I don't know what it was moving at. It says police said after the crash, Withrow was staggering and off balance. His speech was slurred. The results of court-ordered blood draw showed evidence of marijuana, amphetamines, and methamphetamine use. So he was intoxicated on everything. A notice published on the 23rd, it said by the U.S. Department of Transportation Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration, FMCSA, declared Withrow to be an imminent hazard to public safety and was ordered him to not operate a commercial vehicle in interstate commerce. Withrow was served the federal order on the 17th. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, truthfully, I don't know who this Withrow is, but I know who he is. I've known guys like that. They don't give a flying shit. I can handle it. Not a big deal. For you to think that you can get in 80,000 pounds, waste it. I mean, what? I would be deathly afraid to even sit in the driver's seat with the car running if I knew I was wasted, that I was afraid a cop would tap on my window and go, hey, what are you doing there? Mm-hmm. You know, mm-hmm. But you got to have some balls. And I got to tell you the truth. You're just ignorant. What are you trying to prove? Now, you know this guy just killed four minors. 4 minors. I can't even see... Indiana, if you're listening to me, and again, I'm going to just, the law says you're presumed innocent until proven guilty. If you prove this guy guilty, and according to these reports, he's as guilty can get. If you don't give him the maximum, whatever you can do to him by the law, and shoot, if you can execute him, I'd say kill him. He doesn't even deserve to live.
Vehicular manslaughter. He murdered.
Can you imagine? First off, the mind. I don't know if that was the mother or father. It didn't say the one that the driver.
Sounded like a guy. It sounded like a guy, but
so it might have been. Was it the dad of one of them? I don't know. But can you imagine being pulled from a burning vehicle and your kids or whatever you were responsible for all gets to die? Imagine the guilt just on the driver that was rear-ended. How horrible he must feel. Mm-hmm. I'm really disturbed by this one.
Well,
I am.
We have, we both are. Yeah.
So, anyways, I it was an article I was looking at. I thought I'd share it. It's a terrible article, but hey, if this can get somebody out there right now that was possibly ready to pull out with a little bit of something in them, think about this, guys. It's gonna catch you eventually. You want to know how this happens, Rutan? You do it a little bit. Right? And you get away with it. Mm-hmm. And then you do it a little bit more and you get away with it. After you do it 3 or 4 times, you think, I can handle it, man. I do it all the time. Right?
Right. That's how anything starts when you're one of those that people that lie, people that steal, those big people that embezzle, they start out by doing little tiny shots of it. And then next thing you know, they're taking hundreds of thousands of dollars and they finally get caught because, they got too big for their britches. I don't know what else to say there when it comes to that. I had other words, but
I agree with you though. So, but anyways, guys, if you're out there and you got an issue, we've said this before, you got an issue with alcohol, you got an issue with drugs, call us. I'm serious.
Yeah.
I'll look up the place to get you help if I have to, just to save the people around you more, and also to help you. Right. I mean, we're all humans. Some humans just have honestly, they have an issue and they can't stop. But guys, you go beyond mercy. You go beyond somebody feeling sorry or pity for you when you blatantly endanger and let alone kill somebody. Just getting out there, even if you wouldn't have gotten killed. If I seen a guy driving recklessly and then they pull him out of the vehicle and he's drunk, you want to club the guy over the head. Mm-hmm. I have no pity for that guy. No. And so anybody out there that's addicted and you're like trying to fight this, I'll tell you right now, and I've said this before too. I'm gonna unless you got something else to talk about, guys. You're better off ripping your CDL up. You're better off right now being homeless. I'm serious. You're better off losing your wife. You're better off, honestly and truly, walking away from your life if it means getting straight. Some people are like, oh, I'm always drunk. I can't stop, but I got to keep working. Because if I don't, I'm going to lose my family. I'm going to lose my house. I'm going to lose my car. Guys, this guy here, he lost everything that day. Mm-hmm. He's gone. He's going to prison. And somebody else is going to be sleeping with his old lady someday. Somebody else is going to be called daddy by his kids because he's only in his 30s. If he has kids, guess what? Somebody else is daddy to your kid now. Somebody else is sleeping with your old lady now. Everything you had is gone. Mm-hmm. I'm telling you, you're gone. So if you were worried about losing all that stuff, you should have just threw that CDL away and God help. And if you lost everything, that would have been good. But at least you would still have a chance to have a life. Mm-hmm. This guy, he has no chance at a life now. I mean, it is what it is. Ruth Ann, you got anything else?
Word of the day.
What is the word of the day? Juggernaut. Man, Joe Rogan says that when he's talking about somebody that's like a real tough guy. He's like, he's a juggernaut.
Well, honestly, 13 Ghosts.
Yeah, 13 Ghosts.
With Juggernaut.
The Juggernaut.
That's where I always... The
Juggernaut. Was he the guy that was on 13 Ghosts? Was he the guy that picked up the guy and broke his back? Yeah. He was the real tough... Juggernaut. He was like the main ghost, the toughest one.
Yeah.
Okay.
He was the one that they wanted to catch. He was a tiny looking guy. He wasn't the real.
No, the Juggernaut was the real big guy.
Was he the real beefy guy?
Yeah, okay. You could remember he picked up.
Well, who's the guy at the end, or who was that one then? The one that was really thin and that they were really trying to get at the very end.
I don't know. It's been a while since we've seen that movie.
I'm gonna have to watch that. I like that movie.
All right.
So I'm gonna play it real quick. So
good. Juggernaut. Little louder. Juggernaut.
All right. So a Juggernaut is an overwhelming force that destroys anything in its path.
Oh.
The other definition is an institution that inspires blind devotion and sacrifice.
That's definitely the opposite of that definition. I like the first one better.
No, well, that's more, I think, of the accurate. I'm pulling up 13 Ghosts Juggernaut.
Juggernaut. Is it the big guy? It's the big guy. I remember him. He's the one that broke the doctor's back or whatever. The main bad guy's back. So, anyways, listen, real quick. Honestly, we're all about the trucking industry on this show. All right, guys. TalKCDL has been on the air since late 2015. And every show is about trucking, Ruth Ann. It's all we talk about. We haven't invited, we just did an interview. We've got a couple interviews that haven't even, and I know there's probably guys out there. Travis, if you're listening, we definitely still have yours. It's, the editing is a little harder in some because of background noises. But guys, if you come on our show, we got a lot of people that we've interviewed. We've got some waiting to be published, okay, that are still waiting for editing to get through.
Well, it's really hard for them because of like you said, the background noises, headsets, kind of mess it up, and then you have like a lot of noise, and then you have maybe a 40-minute show that sounds really bad when editing listens to it.
We recently interviewed somebody. Not going to say their names. Nice people, but Ruth Ann, when somebody comes on our show, whether it's a company or CEO or whoever you are, somebody in trucking, drivers, Ruth Ann she'll email instructions, and they clearly say no headsets. Headsets suck when you're. Yeah, that's the Juggernaut. I knew that's who it was. He's the big.
That's not. No, he's not.
That's him. That's the trust.
That's the
all right. We're gonna watch it. We're gonna watch 13 Ghosts. But anyways, and I'm not on anybody's case. But bottom line is, if you want to come on the show, and you want to get your interview or your time on the show out there on iTunes and everything, if it's going to make it out from the recording out into the world, you got to come on the show without headsets, without dogs barking in the background, without we had one guy who was sitting out on his porch the one time, and you can hear traffic, and you couldn't hear him, and then a couple times it was real windy. I'm like, hey, dude, what's that noise? He's like, yeah, it's really windy. I'm like, well, we told you, man, we can't. So sometimes they don't get published. I'm just saying.
Well, yeah, because you can't hear anything. It's just too.
Yeah, so I mean, if you're in trucking, we invite anybody in trucking. We got other people that are supposed to be coming on the show. You know, you're more than welcome to make it on. Just be in a quiet room with your phone, or if you have a mic and you want to mic in, most people call in and then we patch them right into the mixer. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to tell you something, a good iPhone or an Android sounds perfectly clear. It almost sounds like you're in the studio just on your phone. So keep that in mind. Anybody that's going to be coming on the show soon, watch the instructions. Like I said, we just had somebody clearly told the people, hey, no headsets. What's the first thing to do?
Yeah, I try to get that out right away. You know,
right.
there's certain things that you just can't.
Okay.
We can't do.
All right. So do you have anything else before we rock it out of here? Okay, let's go.
Peace.
Peace. Praise the Lord.